Well, look what we got here. This is a Fandu Luxe Edition Big Gold Championship belt. This belt was $820. Without the nameplate, it's $799, but you want a nameplate and it's like another 20 bucks or so. I got the Flair nameplate. This is on a brown strap because the original Big Gold came on a brown strap. And this belt is amazing. I have wanted a Big Gold for years. The problem with what was on the market was, well, let's start with WWE. Their WCW Big Gold and their WWE version of the Big Gold just didn't, it wasn't good enough. Let me give you an example. The WWE WCW version, well, the belt is flat as a pancake and it just looks like a piece of metal that's stamped. And two, the floral design is not accurate. It's nowhere near as detailed as this, and it's just not that great. You know, the rope border is just stamped, and yeah, just not that great. Then the WWE version of the Big Gold, well, that too looks like just a stamped piece of metal, and you know, I would say the floral design, not the detail, but the design was more accurate to the original. And what I mean by that is, see that right there? See how the floral design goes up between the word wrestling and champion? That was on the original Big Gold. But the WWE, WCW version doesn't have that. And neither did the WCW actual, when they were in business, their replicas didn't have that either. So, anyways, so WWE versions were just, I wasn't going to buy one of theirs because it just didn't look good. And yeah. Then there was Classic Shields. Well, Classic Shields makes the original Crumb, they do replicas of the Crumb Rind, the original Crumb Rind, because obviously they are not the original makers, but they do a bootleg copy of the original Crumb Rind. And they do a really good job. I mean, it's amazing what they can produce, but their belts are $2,000 to $3,000, and honestly, I'm not spending $3,000 on a championship replica belt. Okay, you can go to some other belt makers, whether like Dave Milliken or other bootleg makers, and you can get pretty decent Crumb Rind Big Golds, but again, you're spending $2,000 or $3,000, and that's just, I'm not spending that much. And some of those belt makers, they just look like it's a cast copy and it just doesn't look good. Like, honestly, it doesn't look good at all. Well, then there's Fandu. Fandu makes really good replica Big Golds for really cheap. But the problem with their original ones were they were small and the main plate had a curve, but it was also domed, and that was kind of weird. And their leather straps were like paper thin. Super floppy, but paper thin. So I waited and I waited. And then about a week and a half ago, Hazard F5 did a video talking about Fandu coming out with a new belt called the Luxe Edition. And I went, I took a look at it, and I bought it right away. And this belt was totally worth the wait, okay? The size on this belt is much better. It's, I think, 13.5 by 12, okay? That's much bigger than the original Fandu belts. And it's comparable to the WWE versions. Let me give you an example. The WWE WCW version is 13 3/8 by 11.5, okay? Or 11.5 or 11 1/4, something like that. Then the WWE version of the Big Gold is 12.6 by, like, I think 11.3 or something. I don't know. You'll have to look at the specs, but it was their WWE version of the Big Gold is actually smaller than their WCW version. So this one is comparable. It's bigger than the WWE version, actually. This is 13.5 by 12, maybe 12.5. I don't remember. You got to look at the specs, but it's comparable. Pretty close, I would say, even to the original. I say pretty close, okay? And for the price, this is $800. The detail on this belt is amazing. Okay, so we're just gonna zoom in a little bit, okay? I know the rope isn't like a separate piece of metal that was attached, but you know what? It's still beautiful. Look at that. The rope border is amazing. It's pronounced, it's elevated, it's well detailed. It just looks amazing. And then let's talk about this two-tone, okay? You can see the nugget texturing. Yes, I know the original was dotted, but still, don't care. This nugget texturing, the detail between the nugget texturing and their floral pattern, look at that. You got the nugget texturing in between the floral pattern, okay? WWE would never come out with a belt this detailed, ever. And you look at the words here they have detail within the words. They're dotted. And just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Scroll down to the crown. You can see how well detailed that is. The globe. The Ric Flair nameplate. Let's take a look at that. You can see how well detailed that is. Look at how detailed that is. Look at that nugget texturing. How the letters are raised. They've got incredible detail within the lettering. Absolutely amazing. And again, look at that nugget texturing in between the floral design. And it really makes the belt pop. It really does. The floral, compare it with the nugget texturing and the two-tone, I mean, everything just pops. And what's also nice about this Fandu Big Gold is that the plates, they're not hollow on the inside. Like WWE, they kind of hollow out the inside of the plate. These Fandus are not hollowed. This is a 6mm plate through and through. Like, it is incredibly thick and it's heavy. This belt is heavy, okay? Oh, I went with the brown strap because the original was on a brown strap, okay? And I know that WWE versions are black, but the Big Gold's life in WCW always had a brown strap, okay? It may have looked black come the 2000s, but it's still brown. It's just darker. And this leather strap is really thick too. Unlike the original Fandu belts, their straps are like paper thin. This is thick, and it's they claim it's real leather, and I believe them because this strap is thick. It's got girth to it. Let's put it that way. And you can see compared with the thickness of the plates, with the thickness of the straps. I mean the strap. See that? You see, let me see, you can see underneath the plate, the side plate, it's not hollowed, okay? It's a true through and through, you know, metal plate. I'm not sure what kind of material they use. It may not be zinc, but I don't care. I don't care that the rope border isn't a real rope border that is attached separately. This belt blows all of WWE replicas out of the water, period. You cannot argue with that. And I will compare this to the WWE replicas I do have. I have the Winged Eagle, I have the Big Eagle, I have the Undisputed version 1, I have the Undisputed re-release version 2 that is much more detailed than their original version 2. And I also have the WWE Network logo belt. Let's see if you can take a look behind this main plate, see if I can get behind there. You can't, but if you buy one, just take my word for it, they are not hollowed out, okay? And there is a backing, a leather backing that covers the bolts on the back of this belt. So anyways, Fandu Luxe Edition, this belt is amazing. They really hit the ball out of the park with this one. I mean, this is an amazing belt. It's worth every bit of the $800. I am very satisfied with this belt. I mean, this looks like a prestigious belt. To the average Joe, they're not going to know that this is a replica. They're going to look at this, they're going to hold it and be like, wow, this is a real, it is a real belt. It's made out of metal. It's got gold, two-tone with the silver, like it's on a real leather strap. It's an amazing belt. It feels like a championship belt. And the average person isn't going to know the difference between this or the original crumb rind or this and the Classic Shields crumb rind, okay? They will know the difference between this and the WWE version. WWE version is going to look like a toy compared to this. Honestly, it's going to look like a toy or a stamped piece of metal because that's exactly what it looks like, a stamped piece of metal. This belt is amazing. The detail is amazing. I mean, you can see, look at the wording there. See how they're elevated above the nugget texturing? You see that? Look how well detailed that is. And the detail within the lettering as well. Everything just pops on this belt. The floral design is amazing. It's not just 3D, but it's inlaid as well. Just like the original crumb rind. I cannot say enough good things about this belt. Absolutely amazing. Take a look at the side plates, the rope border. Again, for the price, $800, absolutely amazing and well worth it. WWE, they have stepped up their game, but until they come out with a more accurate, like they come out with the accurate crumb rind belt, then, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Will they do it? They probably won't, because it was a WCW belt, not a WWF homegrown belt, you know, like the Big Eagle or the Winged Eagle or the Undisputed or whatever, right? So, but anyways, that is my review on the Fandu Luxe Edition Big Gold Championship belt. Highly recommend it. It's worth every bit of the $800. Go get you one.